that I'm a force to be reckoned with. I learned a lot what my mama taught. That's how I know I got a lot to give. I pay no attention to anyone who says a girl can't be what she wants to. I'm on a mission, I trust my intuition, and nobody's gonna stop me, stop me. I'ma say it loud from the highest rooftops. I'm gonna spread the word around, gonna shout it, so everybody knows that you can't keep a good thing down. A good thing, a good thing.
Well, hello everybody. How you doing today? It's Elizabeth Morosco. I hope you had a great weekend. It flew by over here. We had a lot of activity going on in my house, just with trying to get everybody healed and well and all that good stuff. But I wanted to come out and share a little bit of insight with you. Thought that I'd talk to you a little bit about technology, but before we dig into that, I thought we could even talk a little bit about what is the whole point of even starting a business. I mean, it's a lot of headache, a lot of fear can become overwhelming, stressful, a lot of hours. Typically, if you work 9 to 5, you work a 9 to 5 and then you're done. But when you work for yourself, the 5 o'clock never really comes. You just keep going and growing and doing what you love to do. And this past week, we focused a lot on fixing your marketing, including your mindset. And I think one of the key things that we really should talk about briefly is, what's the point of it? What's the point of all this insanity, right? But for those of you that don't know me, I'm going to show you this really awful photo right here. Here we go. It's live. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Elizabeth Morosco. I'm an agency owner. I run a small boutique marketing agency in Michigan, and we focus on helping people connect online and offline and getting their presence known. And I've been doing this for a few decades, to say the least. But over the course of my life, I've helped nonprofits and corporations raise millions of dollars for whichever project it was that they were working on at the time. And it's been an incredible journey. But I am going to tell you that during part of this journey, it wasn't always pretty. There was sometimes that were incredibly stressful and overwhelming and hard. But at the same time, there were a lot of beautiful moments and moments that pushed me to become better and to improve my skill set and to fight for financial security, even for my family. And I started off sort of as a corporate girl, not sort of, I started off in corporate America. It was my background right out of college. And then ended up getting into becoming an entrepreneur. And even that, that took some encouragement from my husband, who was an enthusiast as an entrepreneur. And even though I came from many in my family that were before me that were business owners, I kind of got into that security of working at a Forbes or Fortune 500 company, and I loved it. But eventually, I did leave, and I started an agency, and there's a whole story behind that I'll share for another time. But excuse me, one of the things that I was forced to deal with was a spouse that was dying, and I was taking care of 2 kids, and it was incredibly difficult. A lot of challenges I didn't even know that existed in life that people face. But one of the divine gifts, call it grace of God, that I had was my company. And the reason why is, number one, it provided a financial means for me to take care of my children and to try to take care of him the best that I could. And through that, it became overwhelming. And I still have pieces of that resonate with me today, of like specific things that I can remember that happened. And then other parts that were this big blur. But fortunately, by having my company, I had systems that were in place that could allow some things to go on autopilot with the support of staff and things that I had going on. Uh, but if I didn't have it at the time, I think that financially it would have been even more devastating and an even bigger struggle. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because this is a part that all of us go through eventually. All of us. None of us get out of life alive. I know that sounds so depressing, but after you go through a hard time, it becomes a realization of what life is really about. There's a full circle to it, you know. And along this journey, I've met a lot of people also that went through a loss of a spouse or a child or very close people, and it does alter the way that you look at life. But the one thing that I've learned through it is by having financial freedom, when difficulties happen, when struggles hit your front door and they're not going to come in, when you have a business in place, it can provide financial relief. And we can talk a lot about, prosperity and, manifesting great things into your life, and it's wonderful. But if you don't take action, while things are kind of calm, when the storm happens, you may not have a lifeboat. And I'm hoping through the videos and the free training that I'm providing, like last week, and I'll continue to provide, that you find ways to start to implement it into your business now. Don't wait. Start doing it now. Start creating a safety net with your business so that you can prosper and grow. And when you start to do that, you'll find, yes, there's going to be struggles and there's going to be difficulties, but it's building something beautiful that's going to be there for you continually. And when you have systems, and when I mean systems, I mean like automated processes and people and staff in place, it can allow the business to keep going even if you're dealing with a heavy load. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be able to go completely on autopilot. Most businesses that are worth having take effort and love. But when you put that in there, your business is going to love you back, and especially when you need it. And I'm hoping that all of you, while you're learning all these great things in different groups, whether it's the group that I host or other groups, that you start to take golden nuggets, but you also start to look at one of the reasons why it's vital to have your own business is providing a sense of financial security for you and your loved ones. It's important, and it takes time. It takes time to build it. Most great things don't happen just overnight. Sometimes you'll hear a sensational story, but not always. And I'm sharing this to you just like as a scoop of truth. It's not to be, I'm not trying to make you feel sad, I'm not trying to make you feel yucky, but I'm trying to make you aware that you're maybe watching this video right now and you're deciding between being lazy and making tomorrow another non productive day, or drawing the line right now to say, while things are still semi okay, even though I'm dealing with normal stress of life, I'm going to take this transition and I'm going to start to build the life that I want. I'm going to create financial freedom for me. I'm going to create financial freedom for my children, maybe even grandchildren. What's the legacy that you're going to leave behind for yourself? And right now, it can become very overwhelming to listen to the news and become very distressed and distraught about what's going on in the world around us. Or it's a time for you to say, I see these different things and I'm going to build something, I'm going to create something. I think it's one of the geniuses of when they say in the Bible that we were created in the image of God. We were created in the image of God, in a reflection of Him, and also with the ability to create and to maintain and manage His wonderful world. You know, you have the power within you to start to make changes. And you can get super excited about like the technology. I'm going to show you some really cool things that I've been working on this past weekend for my little production setup. But also look at it a little bit deeper. What can your business do to make, one, the world better, but for you also to have personal accountability on creating a life that's filled with financial security? And I'm going to share something like I'll paraphrase it way down, but when I left my job at Ford, I was on the fast track. They were grooming me for upper management or whatever you want to call it. They were putting me in an MR role. I was in my late 20s, and I had 40 engineers that reported to me on all these different shows that we did around the globe. And it was fantastic. But then I decided I was going to have a family, and I left, and it was terrifying because here I was set on a path that was, naturally laying out for me, and I left. I ended up leaving that job, and it was wonderful. That's when I finally had my first kid. I think I reduced my stress load. I was able to have my first child, who's now 18, if you can believe that. But when I first left, the agreement was, I was gonna originally I was gonna go into antiques. Maybe as you get to know me, you'll find out. Um, I kind of like antiques a lot. We used to do a lot of traveling and buying antiques from Europe and around the United States and shipping them back here. And it was an incredible journey. We built our dream house. It was great. But then my husband got sick, and then it got bad really quick, like in a matter of like 4 years. It went from bad to really bad. And during that time, I think the agreement that we had was originally I wasn't going to go back to work. And I think part of it was my husband knew I had a tendency of being a workaholic. So we made this agreement. But then as I started seeing him slip and things that weren't going right, I started putting my little toes out to start a new business. And at first, I started the business in my pantry. I did. It's a true story. Um, and in part just so that it wasn't on display of what I was doing. I was starting this business, and we were in a situation where I didn't have to work at that time, but I could see things in the future. Writing was on the wall, and I intuitively went back and started this company, and it grew and it grew and it grew and it grew. And at first he was kind of okay, and then progressively became worse. And I don't know if I should say this, but I'll say this. The first gig that I got, I was paid $500 to go help somebody coordinate some stuff for the day. And my husband at the time wasn't happy about it. And he had said to me, "What the hell are you doing? All that for $500? What a joke. What a joke." And part of it, I think he said it because he didn't want me to go back to work, because he knew, at the time, like when I worked at Ford, I was working honestly like maybe 80, 90-hour weeks, and I loved it. I loved my job, but I was at a burnout stage. So when he said that to me, that's why I was kind of like a little bit hiding in this pantry. When I say pantry, it was like a walk-in pantry. It was this big, beautiful pantry. But then afterwards, because he had an entrepreneurial spirit, he couldn't help himself at all. And for the record, my husband's name and my oldest son's name is Guido. So at first, I kind of like tried to hide it a little bit, do my own thing, do it on the side. But then, ended up bringing him into it, and he loved it. And I had gone and I looked at a building, and I said, "I'm getting this building. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm building out." And at first, I thought he was going to be resistant to the idea. But he said, "No, this is great. Do it, do it, do it, do it." He was very encouraging, and he gave me that momentum to push forward. And I did. And I ended up at first starting with we did weddings, and then we did events, and then we did bridal shows and bridal boutique. I had several companies that were going out of there. Anyhow, that one little gig that started off at $500 gig for the day ended up turning into a six-figure company, multiple six-figure company, and it grew and it grew and it grew, and that company became eventually the lifeline for our family, because he had some problems with a business that had some difficulty. It's another story, typical entrepreneur story. There's always another story, isn't there? So what started off as my little side hobby gig out of my pantry ended up becoming what was recreational money, ended up becoming our lifeline. So we had gone from, yeah, a drastic change in income, a drastic change in things because of his health, and then medical bills and all this other stuff. Well, anyhow, this recreational business ended up becoming my lifeline, and it sustained us. And um, I'm so grateful to God that I did it. And part of it was because I was listening to the writing on the wall, and I was listening to my intuition of things that I knew that I needed to do. And it turned into a beautiful thing in a lot of ways. But for me, it became my financial security. And I want to encourage this for you right now, ladies and gentlemen, both of you. If you are, even in the situation, everything's great, it's okay to start a little side business and find ways to grow it and to achieve your goals. But just don't get to that place that you think that what is today is what will be tomorrow. Because you can go from making $2 million a year to, a percentage of that when you have somebody that has a health crisis. So having multiple sources of income, number one, that's something you should definitely look at. Multiple sources of income is your path to financial freedom. And you being able to start your business is a path to financial freedom and security for yourself, your children, maybe even your grandchildren. But it does come with, some hard times. But the hard times that are really hard will be much easier if you do the hard work now. And I used to tell my nephew all the time, in life, you have a choice. You either end up doing the hard work up front, or you end up doing hard work when it's more difficult and it's twice as hard. So either do hard work now or twice the work later. Part of it's about planning and preparing, and you never know what life's going to bring you, you guys. You never do. But what you do know is the gifts that you have within you that you're letting rot, that you're choosing not to do anything, that you're making excuses of, oh, maybe next week, next month. Now's the time to start building this dream that you have and not waiting until crisis is at the door. Because when crisis is at the door, you better have your systems in place. You better have things rolling so that you can be prepared to fight the battle. I'm speaking it like it is, you guys. It's not fun. And I'm kind of sugarcoating it. I could tell you some really horrible, god awful stories, but I'll save that for you. And I'll let you know that even after you go through the horrible, god awful stories, that there's a beautiful grace that comes afterwards, like that rainbow after the storm. May take some time to get there, but part of it comes down to what are you doing right now today to build that financial freedom? Are you doing anything? So I would love to know from you, have you started working on your goals? Or are you in a situation where maybe you do have a loved one who is sick and now you're trying to overcome? And even if that is you, I'm going to tell you there are ways to overcome it. I'm a testimony of it. I'm still standing. Grace of God, but I'm still standing. And the beautiful thing is then you start to get to a place of having a deeper appreciation for life and the little things. Oh, the little things are so important. They are. The end of the days, those are the things that you're thinking of. Trust me. Little teeny tiny things turn into little miracles. And you have the ability to create your own miracle of having financial freedom by starting to work on your business, by starting to say, hey, I'm going to dedicate my time now to build what I want, instead of saying, maybe next month or next year or tomorrow. Start working on it now. And you'll have fun along the journey instead of just sitting there waiting in fear, or even worse than fear, waiting in ignorance, thinking everything's going to be okay. So I remember a long time ago, this was during the housing market crash in 2008. Somebody had done an advertisement, and it was a couple that was sitting in their living room. I don't know if any of you saw this commercial or not. but it looked like I think the wife was in the kitchen and the husband was sitting in his lazy boy. And then lo and behold, this great big boulder comes flying through the middle of the house, and then they're shocked. And it was about, losing your house to foreclosure or something like that. But, the thing that stood out in my mind is, they're just casually walking by. I'm going to drink my cup of coffee. This freaking bulldozer come through the wall. Don't wait till the bulldozer comes through the wall. Build things while life is just simple, even if it's a little bit chaotic. I mean, let's get real. If you're raising kids and working and trying to slay it through the day, it can become overwhelming. But what I'm telling you is what feels like overwhelming on an ordinary day is a cakewalk when chaos breaks loose. You have news that a child is sick, you have news that a spouse is sick, or even something worse, somebody passes away. So take the time and start building some of these systems now so that when it happens, you do have some sort of peace of mind. I know this almost sounds like a life insurance ad. It's not. This is just real life testimony from Liz. And hopefully, you can get something out of it that can help you lead to that next path of happiness and, all that good stuff. But we're gearing up for this inner circle, like an accelerated class. It's going to start April 2nd, and we're still running this promo. I want to tell you about it. It's going to be until March 17th, so we have like 2 more days where I've literally discounted it to like just about peanuts for what you're going to get to improve your business, including strategies and things like that. But we're going to also dive into mindset. We're going to work on overcoming fear at the same time that we're focusing on building a super cool strategy. I've told you a couple times, I'm kind of a techie, geeky girl. I'm a geeky chick. I can't help it. I tried to hide it my whole teen life, but I'm in my 40s. I'm not denying it no more. I like it. I like technology, and part of it is it just can be so much fun. But the part that you want to get to is where it's not just fun, but you start working on creating revenue generating fun. That's what we want to do, and we'll be talking about those sort of things. So, like this past weekend, one of the things I did is I worked on being able to bring in, this is my cell phone, this camera right here that I'm working on. And it actually has pretty good quality, I think, right? And then let me show you this other one because I'm going to give you perspective. Now, this is my, nope, that's still my, here we go. This is my camera that's from my webcam. So see what a difference lighting and the right camera can make. Oh my God, I look like freaking 25 years older. Let's go back to this camera. I think I'm looking a little bit better. What about you? Do you see the difference? So, those are some of the little technologies and hacks that you can use. And I just have this little overhead light that's shining up on it. I turned off all the other lights and having a little bit of fun. And I'm going to show you something. Okay, ready to geek out with me, guys? Look at, I'm going to show you something kind of cool. You get it behind the scenes for a minute. Oh, wait, can I flip my camera? I might not be able to flip it. Oh, here we go. Wait, maybe not. Hold on a second. Be patient. I downloaded the software. It's called Elgato. Well, here, we'll go this way, see if it works this way. Okay, so this is my little stream deck that I ended up picking up. I'm trying to do it reverse. But it's fun because you can do a lot of really cool, funky little things, including, let me see, like sound. Get my sound up here. Oh, check this out. Oh, I want to see if I can, hold on. Bear with me. Let me see if I can get this. No, I don't know why it's not doing it. Before it had a way that you could reverse. Oh, here it goes. Oh, there we go. Fancy. Okay, so check this out. This is my stream deck. And I ended up programming all these little different sounds. So here's like suspense. See how it's got like the timer? It counts down how long the song is. Okay, look at the spring. Okay, and then we got to, of course, we have to have a DJ horn, right? All right. I got a whole bunch of other ones, including working on my like new intro songs to see how this might do. Look at that. Yep, a couple more. All right. Thinking that might be our new intro song that we do. Do you think you guys like that? Yeah. Oh, and they'll play over at the same time. Let's shut that off. We'll do Magic Wand. Yes. So technology can be lots of fun, but the big thing that we want to do is make sure that we have technology that's working for you and not just more stuff that you buy and it doesn't have a benefit to you. We want it to all be good. So anyhow, I do hope that you guys take advantage of this opportunity, jump on board for this upcoming workshop. It's going to start April 2nd, and this is going to be a little bit of a hybrid of technology and mindset, two of my favorite topics, getting in touch with our mind and our mind in another way. So yeah, come dig on in. We're going to have a good time. But for now, I want you to seriously start looking at what are business systems that you need to get in place to build that business. What do you need to do to create financial freedom for you and your family? Don't allow yourself to sit there anymore thinking, what if, or even worse, in the middle of a storm where you're drowning, that you don't have a lifeline. Let me help you build that lifeline. Let me help you create a path to that goal that you've been thinking about. And when you go over to the link and look at it, but the package that we've created is phenomenal. For under $300, we're going to work with you a combination of hybrid and one-on-one coaching and templates and training and all sorts of things that will be able to have you on a fresh track within, just give me 1 quarter, which is just simply 3 months. 3 months, we're going to nail together some of the pieces that you may be missing, maybe some of the stuff that you have floating in your head and in your system that you need to trash. We're going to walk through it. You're not going to have to do this alone. You're not going to have to be in a situation of thinking, I don't know where to begin, or I'm listening to too many people. I don't know which decision is right. We're going to map it out, create something that customized to your goals, but at the same time, not just arbitrarily picked. I'm going to show you proven blueprints that have worked, not just for me, but for my clients. Things that are still effective. So come on down. Let's go have some fun. Go check it out at Elizabeth Morosco. Let me see if I can get back over here. Elizabeth /beam now. And there you go. So that's a link right there. Right there. Go enter that link. Come on down. Let's have some fun. It's going to start April 2nd, but if you sign up by March 17th, got some special little bonuses for you. All right, you guys. I wish you lots of prosperity. Think happy thoughts and create something abundant for you and your family. Do it today. Don't wait no more. I'll see you.